How we doing? Welcome back to Clay on Raw. This is One Question, One Answer. In this series, I pull one question and answer it honestly, raw, not from a book and not pre-scripted, and just from the heart. Let's go ahead and get into the question. What pain turned you into who you are today? For me, that pain that turned me into who I am today. That pain came probably 12 years ago. If you've been following along with this channel, you've seen or already heard about. I had gone through I experienced betrayal from a long-time marriage, and that one thing kind of it sparked a spiral of things for me. And I don't mean a lot of things, but definitely it caused problems that spill out onto new relationships that had nothing to do with it. There was, a lot of deceit that it was like repetitive over couple years, long enough period of time, too long. And when that happened to me, it just kind of made me. You realize that there was a lot of things you didn't notice, a lot of things you didn't see coming, and being blindsided really kind of makes you feel vulnerable, makes you feel like almost like you let yourself down, you let your guard down, and didn't see this coming or didn't see the writing on the wall. So going forward, that starts to make you kind of hyper vigilant. Well, at least it did for me. Made me very hyper vigilant. I still am, but I've learned to like pack it away per se, like not let it bother me as bad. But in the same turn, that hyper vigilance it's not a good thing. But inside of all that hyper vigilance, it's made me a little more cautious and a little more not guarded, but just aware, like paying attention to things, asking questions when you should be asking the questions. There's a downside to it because sometimes you can ask too many questions, or you can be too blunt and too blatant about things, and it does cause problems. But it has left me going forward where I keep an eye on things now. I maybe try to nurture things a little bit better, almost like it made me wiser. And, that's like anything in life and that we experience and that we go through, it makes you wiser. The more you've experienced, the more knowledge you have, the more rationalization you can come up with. The ability to handle things is it's heightened. And I think as far as a pain that has helped me and made me who I am today, that would be mine. And I'm sure there's plenty of people out there like myself with that same scenario, that same, I don't know, it's a complex almost. You especially the hypervigilance, and that's something that you really got to pay attention to, because it can overtake everything. It can overrun and spill into things that you don't want it to. So it's good to pay attention to it. It raises questions of, am I overthinking things? That's another thing that it bleeds into, is overthinking. And, overthinkers tend to see a lot of things coming, but they also tend to, I don't want to say make up things that aren't happening, but their mind will do stuff like that. So you got to be a little bit stronger and a little bit more on top of your game now. So that's kind of where I'm at. After 12 years, I'm to the point now where I pay attention to these things, and I'm doing my best to not overdo it and not let too much spill over onto somebody that may not deserve it, So those are the ways that it has affected me and changed me the most. But matter of fact, that's what started this channel. I did a video about betrayal trauma, and it the first video that I put up on this channel did extremely well. Within a short amount of time, it had over 4,000 views. I hid it for a while because in the comments there was a lot of I don't want to say hate, and it wasn't like nobody was coming at me or coming at each other, but some of the things they were saying were queuing up things that I wasn't trying to drum up. I wasn't trying to bash the person that did this to me. I wasn't trying to all women this or all men that. That wasn't what my goal was. My goal was just to talk about it and express how it made me feel and the things that I was going through, the things that how it changed things in general for me going forward. And those comments weren't exactly coexisting properly the way I wanted it to. So I hid that video for a while. I think I've since then put it back out because it had good views and it was a good subject. It was a good thing to talk about, but I didn't want it to be a hate. I wasn't trying to breed hate or cause problems. So I hid it for a while. But that's pretty much what I've got for that. Like one of the things there's, throughout your life, there's many things that you will go through that will either break you down or build you up. And some of that is a choice, I think, as far as when it comes to letting it break you down. I think it's a choice to let it affect you in a way that you can't control. So, you want to pay attention to stuff like that. You want to try to stay on top of it and not let it ruin the rest of your life. Learn from it. Everything's a learning experience. And I'm one of those people that firmly believes that we never stop learning. Like there's always room for improvement. The saying, just don't try to be better than everyone else. Just try to be better than you were yesterday. And that's how I look at a lot of things that happen. Financial problems, relationship problems. They're all learning experiences, and they all make you and shape you into who you are today. And if you take those lessons and turn them into tools that can make you a better you for tomorrow, and those are, you wouldn't know hypervigilance, or you wouldn't know a lot of these things if you didn't have to go through something bad or something rough. And I'm not trying to say or make it seem like it's a positive thing when negative things happen, but everything we go through shapes us into who we are. Sometimes some people that goes the wrong way. Sometimes the things that they've been through turns them into quite an undesirable person. You gotta, it's a job. It's a hard job to navigate those things and not let them turn you into something that you don't want to be, something that you didn't aspire to become. That's what I have for that question. What pain turned you into who you are today? So if you got something out of this, leave a comment below and let me know what pain you went through that made you who you are today. I'm hoping it's something positive as far as who it made you who you are today, but let me know. I would love to see the comments and get to respond back to them. So that was today's one question, one answer. Maybe it made you think, or maybe it just made you realize that you're not alone. Now, I'd love to hear your truth. Drop your thoughts in the comments below. And if this spoke to you, share it with someone who just might need this same question today. I'll see you in the next one.